Welcome to Standard Chartered Money Insights, a podcast series by Standard Chartered Bank that brings you market views and insights on the go.
Welcome to Cut to the Chase. Today is Wednesday, the 9th of July. I'm Daniel Lam, your host for the podcast. Let's continue from where we left off yesterday, where we talked about how different economies control parts of the semiconductor supply chain. So what can happen if there were disruptions, and what the US government intends to do about all these? So let's take a look at history and go back to 2020 and 2021, when the COVID pandemic led to the closure of microchip factories in Japan, Korea, Taiwan, and the US. So this delay in production of microchips ultimately hurt the production of consumer goods using these chips. And of course, that's compounded by the closure of factories in China, owing to its zero COVID policy. At the same time, due to the demand for working at home and studying, there was rising demand for consumer products such as laptops. And this mismatch in supply and demand of products using microchips led to shortages and price increases. And that shortage became even more severe in 2022 because of the war of Russia and Ukraine. And that disrupted the supply of semiconductor-grade neon gas, which is critical for microchip production. Two companies in Ukraine control 50% of the gas supply. They had to be shut down as the war started. So prices increased across a broad range of goods, such as automobiles, computers, and mobile phones. All these highlighting the importance of semiconductor supply chain resilience. Now, right now, roughly 90% of the advanced chips, which are increasingly important for AI and defense management systems, are produced by one single company in facilities in Taiwan. So the US administration is concerned that geopolitical risk in the region may disrupt the supply of these chips to US industries. So it is seeking to encourage this company, as well as other leading-edge chip producers, to set up production facilities in the US instead. So now, bingo, you see where tariffs come into the picture. So the Biden administration in December last year focused upon this so-called legacy chips, which are the mature node chips or the 28 nanometer or larger chips. And they make up roughly 90% of global chip sales by volume and 40% of chip sales by value in 2023. What are they being used for? Well, they have a wide variety of products, such as home appliances, medical equipment, automotive sector, aerospace, communications such as 5G technologies, and critical sectors such as defense and power. So by 2030, the US will only account for roughly 5.5% of global legacy chip production, while economies of China and Taiwan taking more than 75%. So therefore, the US wants to use the threat of tariffs to force production to the US and thus securing the global supply chain. Of course, there are implications. So what are they? And what does it do to the production cost? What if other economies retaliate? So stay tuned for the third and final part of our podcast topic on semiconductors. Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to Standard Chartered Money Insights, a podcast series by Standard Chartered Bank. For more details, visit Market Views on the Go on our website or click the link in the description.